Today we'll be doing a speed build of our Normcore entrance. Welcome back to Crossing Minute. I'm Dan, and I didn't really love the way my plaza turned out here at the entrance. As you can see with the different paths and things I've got going on, things just didn't quite line up the way they should have. And knowing this, I decided, you know what? I'm going to start over. I'm going to get rid of the plaza, I'm going to get rid of the little cliffs here, and I'm going to just take another stab at this. My resident services, as you can see, being so close to the airport also presents its own challenges. I'm sure a lot of you can relate to them. But right about here, we'll get into the actual speed build, where I take out all these paths and get rid of these cliffs, and we're really going to clean this area up and take, have another go with this. I got to pick up all these different items. I got to get rid of this water feature, unfortunately, but I do love a good water feature on an entrance to an island, so we are bringing one back for sure. But getting rid of the hedges and the flowers, all of that stuff needed to be done so we can just have a clean slate. So my next challenge, it was right here, where the entrance of the airport doesn't really line up with this big main path that I have in front of me going past Nook's Cranny. So I had to compromise, and this was difficult because I'm somebody who loves symmetry. And having my path kind of zigzag like that was not something I decided lightly. But what I decided to do instead was create this double path thing we got going on here, where there's two parallel paths, and I let that go all the way over. Even in a bit, you'll see it go past resident services, but this was my solution to my paths not lining up. And as it comes together, you'll kind of see why this is okay, because I do manage to reclaim the symmetry. I should probably mention that I actually have a full island tour coming very soon. The island, as it is right now, is done by the time you're watching this. I've been kind of sitting on this entrance footage for some time, so just don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the island tour. Anyway, next on the list was building some cliffs. I needed to provide a little bit of separation between resident services and the entrance. I didn't want resident services to be just looking people dead in the face when they landed on the island. So I built this cliff, and I really love the way it turned out, and it provided me an opportunity to bring back a water feature at the entrance, of course, as well. And then from here, what I decided to do was actually replicate this very cliff we see right here, which makes the entrance look really nice and asymmetrical, on the other side of resident services. And this would give me my symmetry back. I could reclaim that symmetry I so desperately love on my islands. And this turned out awesome. Resident services now feels a little more boxed in, like in its own area, and then the entrance itself feels really unique and cool. So I did the same thing with the waterfalls, and just kind of trimmed up the edges. And then it was on to work with all the different details and things like that around my entrance and resident services. And this is where we just kind of blaze through all the different things and stuff I decided to add to the island. Right here, I actually ended up extending a little bit the farmer's market that comes out in front of Nook's Cranny. That's what that is back there. And I decided to put some stalls for recipes. And, once all that was done, it was just a matter of putting down all of my path borders and getting everything ready for kind of the final walkthrough. By the way, you'll notice those statues. Those are one on Nookazon. They're not the genuine article. But I do love the way they look, greeting people as they get off the plane. Of course, right now what you're seeing is decorating. I'm just getting all the different trinkets down, and I'm not going to show you all of that right now, but I did want a little bit of maybe a fairy core vibe going on top of the cliffs. And so I also mixed in some different color roses to kind of match the different items I was using. And then this little pond area is probably my favorite spot on this whole build. It really is. I think it came out really awesome with the well and the little pond. I always catch different villagers fishing in it now, which is just awesome. I don't even know if the pond's big enough to house fish. I never see fish in it, but I love the way it came out. Now, as I said earlier, I have been sitting on this footage for quite some time, and I'm recording this so much later than when I actually built this entrance. So it's going to look a little bit different, but just check it out. This is how the finished product looks when everybody gets off the airport. They get to be greeted by these amazing yet fake statues. I've put some lights down here at night. This looks really cool. I decided, because the island is named Cat Butte, to add some Hello Kitty planters here at the front. And then one of the biggest changes I made recently was switching out my peach trees for orange trees here with some little orange roses. And I decided to also change up the hedges in the middle to incorporate more of the log stakes, kind of using them as a fence pattern here, which I think looks just awesome. Ignore the fact the bug off's going on right now. That's just the day I decided to record. And then we have all kinds of space here for recipes. And this actually was cleaned out recently, but I had all of these stalls full of recipes for friends to grab, which is always nice to do. And yeah, I kind of call this area the farmer's market. It just has that vibe to it. Leads right into Nooks. Here is where this kind of main road leads to the back area of the island, but it works. I never even, thanks to the path borders, I never even notice that the path leading into the island zigzags like I was talking about. It's just, I just love it so much. It just provides more character than anything else. If we come over here, we can see everything's kind of bloomed now. We have the red and orange roses for the apples, because apples kind of have that red and orange color to them. And then I've put purple and pink roses back here for the, you know, these little areas up here where I have the nova lights and different shrubs and things like that. And then this pond area, as I said, it's always getting used by villagers. I kind of just threw a flower here because it needed something right there. And then the one thing I'm still trying to figure out that I'll probably add later are more things on this bottom part of the path. So I have a couple benches, and I don't want it to just be all the same. So I'm thinking of putting something down here where I'm walking right now, just to really finish this place off. But again, I think it looks awesome. And let me know what you think in the comments below. Leave a like. I'll see you next time.